Okay, so have you ever seen a show that, like, really sticks with you?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Like, you finish it, but you can't stop thinking about it?
Yeah, totally.
Well, for you today, that show is The White Lotus.
Ooh, good one.
It's on HBO, and, it's not just entertaining.
Bring it.
It's, like, makes you think,
Gets under your skin.
Yeah, maybe even squirm in your seat a little bit.
I know what you mean.
And today, we're going to take a deep dive into it, rate
Okay.
it, drawing on some really cool perspectives.
Oh, interesting.
We've got excerpts here from a fictional podcast
Okay.
called NEXTGEN AI POD.
Interesting.
And apparently they did their own deep dive into this show.
So meta.
Yeah, exactly. But our mission today is to go beyond, like, just the surface level.
Right.
The beautiful resorts, the drama.
Right. The pretty people.
All that stuff.
It's more than just a vacation show, right?
Exactly. We're going deeper
I like it.
into the psychology of the characters. The symbolism that's kind of hidden throughout.
Oh, yeah.
And those twists.
The twists.
Oh, man, the twists in this show
Yeah, those will get you.
that leave you like, what just happened?
Jaw on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to unpack all of that today.
I'm excited.
But first, for anyone who maybe hasn't seen it yet,
Sure.
let's just lay out the basics, right?
To give them the elevator pitch.
So what makes this show so captivating?
Why are we still talking about it?
Why is it a cultural touchstone?
Right. That's the question.
Okay, so The White Lotus,
Right.
it's a satire,
Okay.
and it's an anthology series,
Right.
which means each season is different.
Different location, different story.
Exactly. New location.
Mostly new characters.
Sprint characters, yeah.
But with one very important exception, which we'll get to.
We will definitely get to that.
Yeah.
But the setting is always,
A luxury resort?
all these gorgeous resorts.
The kind of place you dream of going to,
Oh, yeah.
but maybe also kind of afraid of,
Right. Because things get messy.
underneath all that beauty.
So you've got these wealthy guests, right?
Yeah, dripping in privilege.
And then, of course, you've got the staff.
The people who make that dream vacation possible.
And they're all kind of caught in this web
A web of their own making, really.
of desires and illusions.
Their own little dramas playing out.
Yeah, but it's not just a vacation gone wrong, is it?
No, it's way more than that.
What's fascinating, and I think what NEXTGEN AI POD really picks up on,
Okay, yeah.
is that there's this undercurrent.
Running through both seasons.
Yeah, this tension, this unease.
Like a simmering pot about to boil over.
Right. So first you have this class tension.
Always there, right beneath the surface.
That's between the guests and the staff.
You can cut it with a knife sometime.
And then on top of that, you've got, like, the sexual tension.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole other layer.
It's like simmering everywhere.
So much unspoken desire and frustration,
Exactly.
leading to some very bad decisions.
Yes, definitely.
And then you layer on this feeling of, like, existential dread.
Right, this emptiness.
Even in paradise,
Mhm.
nobody seems truly happy.
They're searching for something,
Right, like they're missing something.
but they don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Now, back to the format for a second.
right, the anthology thing.
So you've got a new location each season.
Fresh start, new set of problems.
Mostly new faces, like you said.
Keeps things interesting.
Right. But there's always this hook
Oh, yeah, the big one.
at the very beginning of each season.
That gets you hooked right away.
You find out someone has died.
A dead body.
Right, so immediately you're like,
Who is it?
who is it? What happened?
And who did it?
You're trying to solve the mystery.
It's like a puzzle box you have to unlock.
Right, and so that keeps you engaged, right?
Totally.
While you're also getting sucked into these, like,
Wonderfully messy lives.
the lives of the characters.
Right, they're so flawed and fascinating.
Yeah. Now, season 1.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
A beautiful, dangerous place.
Right, stunning scenery.
But trouble in paradise.
But underneath it all, you've got,
The dark side of paradise.
yeah, some really, really dark stuff going on.
Right, that's where those themes really start to come through.
Okay, so season 1 for you,
Why?
it really sets the stage
For the whole series, really.
for examining,
The whole privilege versus exploitation thing.
right, it's all about power dynamics.
Who has it and who doesn't.
The guests versus the staff.
The haves and the have-nots.
Right, and you really feel that tension
Oh, yeah, it's palpable.
in every interaction.
That constant awareness of the power imbalance
Now, season 2 shifts things up a bit, right?
takes us to a new place, new energy.
New location.
Sicily.
Sicily.
Also stunningly beautiful,
Oh, breathtaking.
but a very different vibe.
Yeah, totally different feel.
And the focus changes a bit too.
Yeah. Okay, so for you, how would you describe season 2?
It's about relationships, I think.
More so than season 1.
Yeah, and maybe even more intense.
Intense how?
Well, the drama is definitely amped up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really about intimacy, or at least the illusion of it.
Okay.
And all the messiness that comes with that.
Right, like the lies we tell.
To ourselves and each other.
And the consequences, right.
Yeah, and they can be pretty devastating.
So Sicily is not just a random location.
Right.
It provides...
a different cultural lens.
yeah, a different way of looking at these things.
It adds those extra layers of meaning.
So, like, the lavishness is still there.
Oh, yeah, even more so in Sicily.
But it's layered with...
a sense of history, tradition.
yeah, and maybe even danger.
Definitely danger.
So we're not just looking at American tourists in paradise anymore.
Right, it's more complex than that.
Okay, so let's dive into some specific characters, keeping the themes in mind.
Okay, yeah, let's get specific.
Season 1, Hawaii. Armond,
Oh, Armond.
the hotel manager.
What a character.
NEXTGEN AI POD describes him as...
Chaotic but captivating.
yes! I love that.
You couldn't look away from him, could you?
He was a train wreck.
A beautiful train wreck.
But you couldn't help but watch.
But there's this question about him. Wow.
Okay, so Armand's fatal mistake.
With Shane.
With Shane, right. The guest from hell.
Oh, yeah, Shane was a piece of work.
Was it just the system wearing Armand down?
Was he a victim of the demands of that job?
Or was there something else?
Something more self-destructive at play.
Like, was he already on that path?
That's the question that makes him so compelling.
Right, because on one hand, you totally see how...
The system grinds people down.
the constant entitlement.
The pressure to please these demanding guests.
It's dehumanizing.
Really is.
And Shane was, like, the embodiment of that.
He pushed Armond to the edge.
But then there's this other side to Armond.
That performative aspect.
Like, he almost enjoys the chaos.
There's a self-sabotaging element there.
Right, like, he could have walked away.
Made different choices.
But he didn't.
So was it just Shane pushing him, or was Armond already leaning in that direction?
I think it's probably a bit of both, isn't it?
Most likely.
It's that complexity that makes him such a great character.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about Tanya.
Oh, Tanya.
Tanya McQuoid.
Jennifer Coolidge. Brilliant as always.
She's the only character who appears in both seasons.
The through line, the anchor.
Right. That tells you something about her significance.
Definitely.
And in season 1, you've got this whole gay following storyline.
Which, honestly, I wasn't sure about at first.
Yeah, it could have gone so wrong.
But they handled it well, I think.
It ended up being really poignant, actually.
It added depth to her character.
Right. It showed this deep need for connection.
Yeah, validation.
That she has, yeah.
She's so desperate to be loved.
But, you know, thinking about season 2...
Right, knowing how things end up.
the big question for you is, was Greg already plotting against her back then?
In Hawaii, already planning her demise.
It makes you look back at their interactions differently, right?
Oh, totally.
Because he's not really engaged with her.
He's almost cold, distant.
Yeah, like he's just going through the motions.
Like she's a means to an end.
So, you know, maybe he sought her vulnerability.
And he recognized an opportunity.
Right. We don't know for sure.
Not in season 1, anyway.
But it's definitely something to consider.
It makes you rethink everything.
Now, thinking about the mystery in season 1.
The who did it?
The identity of the person who's found dead at the beginning.
Right, the one they tease at the start.
Was it obvious to you who it was going to be?
I'm not sure if it was obvious.
Or did the show try to mislead us?
I think they definitely played with our expectations a bit.
Okay, how so?
Well, there were clues pointing to Armond.
Right, especially with the escalating conflict with Shane.
You could see it coming in a way.
Yeah, that it was
Yeah.
going to end badly.
But they also gave us other possibilities.
Right, other potential victims.
Other suspects.
So you're never really sure.
They kept you guessing.
But I think the brilliance of it is that.
It wasn't just about the surprise reveal.
Right, it wasn't a gotcha moment.
It was more about the build-up.
It's like the inevitability of it all.
Yeah, given the personalities involved,
The power dynamics at play.
you could feel that tension building.
And you knew something had to give.
Right, it was only a matter of time.
Okay, season 2.
All right, Sicily.
Sicily.
Things get even more complicated.
Yeah, definitely more intricate.
More layers to peel back.
So you've got the introduction of infidelity as a major theme.
Right, it's all over the place in season 2.
The dynamics within the Italian aristocracy.
Oh, the De Grasso family.
With all their history and secrets.
So much baggage.
And, of course, as our source so eloquently puts it,
That boat scene.
Oh, yes!
We can't talk about season 2 without talking about that.
It's a pivotal moment, right?
A turning point.
Where everything kind of explodes.
The simmering tensions finally boil over.
Okay, so NEXTGEN AI POD throws out this question for you. Of the 4 couples in season 2.
Harper and Ethan, Daphne and Cameron.
Right, and then, of course, Tanya and Greg.
And the DeGrasso grandfather and his companion.
Which couple is the most toxic?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right, because they're all messed up in their own way.
They really are. It's like a masterclass in dysfunctional relationships.
Okay, so let's start with Harper and Ethan.
Okay, yeah.
They're the ones who, like, come in judging everyone else.
They think they're above it all.
Right, they think they're different.
More enlightened.
More authentic.
Not like those other superficial rich people.
But then...
They fall into the same traps.
Right, they get sucked into the drama.
The paranoia, the jealousy.
They become what they were judging.
It's that whole holier-than-that attitude that makes them so interesting.
Because it tumbles so quickly.
Right, it's a facade.
Okay, then you got Daphne and Cameron.
Ah, the picture-perfect couple.
Right, on the surface, they seem to have this, like...
open relationship?
Yeah, very modern, very European.
All smiles and secret.
But you can't help but wonder what's really going on.
Right, is it genuine or just a performance?
Because there are hints.
Oh, yeah, little things they say, things they do.
That make you question.
Their motives, their moral...
The whole relationship.
And the source even suggests they might be involved in something shady.
Like criminal activity.
Maybe, who knows?
It adds a layer of, like, unsettling mystery to them.
Definitely.
Okay, and then, of course...
Tanya.
Tanya.
Her ending is just so...
tragic.
chaotic.
Yeah, it's a mess.
On a yacht, no less.
And NEXTGEN AI POD points out this possible connection to The Godfather.
Oh, interesting. What do you think about that?
It makes sense, thematically.
Okay, how so?
Well, it's all about power.
Right.
Betrayal, ambition.
The things that money can buy and the things it can destroy.
And it all plays out against this backdrop of, like, Sicilian history.
Right, this place steeped in tradition and violence.
So Tanya might not be a mob boss.
No.
But she gets caught in this world.
A world she doesn't fully understand.
So she's ultimately betrayed by the people she trusted.
Just like in The Godfather.
It's operatic.
Definitely.
But also, like, really, really sad.
You can't help but feel for her.
Okay, so these characters, right?
Yeah.
They're not just rich people behaving badly.
Which is entertaining enough on its own.
Right, but there's more to it.
NEXTGEN AI POD calls them case studies.
Oh, I like that.
Case studies in human behavior.
Like, amplified by this environment.
Right, the pressure cooker of the luxury resort.
Okay, let's look at some examples, starting with Portia.
Okay.
In season 2.
Tanya's assistant.
She seems to represent this, like, Gen Z malaise.
Right, that feeling of being lost.
Even though she's, you know, privileged.
Despite having all the opportunities.
She's constantly on her phone.
Disconnecting from real life.
Yeah, struggling to connect with people.
She's a perfect example of modern anxiety.
Right, masked by this digital facade.
It's like she's always searching for something.
But she doesn't know what it is.
And she's looking in all the wrong places.
Okay, what about Albie?
Oh, Albie.
The nice guy.
The self-proclaimed nice guy.
Right.
Who's maybe not as nice as he thinks he is.
The source highlights this problematic thing he does.
With Lucia.
Right, the sex worker he meets in Sicily.
He tries to save her.
It's this commodification of her, right?
Exactly.
Like, he's not seeing her as an individual.
With her own agency and her own goals.
He's putting her in this box.
The damsel in distress.
That he needs to rescue.
It's a savior complex.
And it's ultimately, like, pretty selfish.
Right. It's all about him feeling good about himself.
Not about actually helping her.
And it completely ignores the realities of her life and her choices.
Okay, now, in contrast to those two,
right,
you've got Mia and Lucia.
The hustlers.
Right, the ones who are actually, like, working the system.
They know how to play the game.
And they do it well.
They're not victims.
No, they're survivors.
They use the desires of the guests to their advantage.
They're smart.
Resourceful.
And they have a clear understanding of the power dynamics.
They know how to get what they want.
It's a different kind of power, right?
Yeah, more subtle.
But definitely effective.
They're the ones who are actually in control.
In a way that the guests aren't.
Exactly.
Okay, last character deep dive, just for you.
All right, who is it?
Quentin.
Oh, Quentin.
The
wolf in Eurotrash clothing.
Yes, I love that description.
Very fitting.
He's so charming.
On the surface.
But there's something, like, off about him.
Something sinister lurking beneath the charm.
And the source points out this moment, this monologue he gives.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
about beauty and death.
Very dramatic.
And they suggest that it was foreshadowing Tanya's fate.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
Did you pick up on that at the time?
I don't think I did.
Yeah,
Consciously.
Yeah, it's subtle.
It's easy to miss on first viewing.
But looking back, it's like, oh, wow.
It adds a whole other layer to his character.
It makes you realize how calculated he was.
Right, he was always playing a game.
And Tanya was just a pawn in it.
A pawn in his twisted game.
Okay, time to look ahead.
All right, the future of the White Lotus.
Season 3.
What do we know?
We know it's set in Asia.
Ooh, exciting.
Right. New continent, new possibilities.
New characters, new drama.
And there's this persistent rumor, according to NEXTGEN AI POD,
Okay.
that Jennifer Coolidge might be back.
Wait, really? But Tanya's.
Yeah, I know, but apparently there's talk of her playing Tanya's twin sister.
Oh, wow. That would be wild.
All right. It would be such a Mike White move.
Totally unexpected, but it somehow makes sense.
It would raise so many questions, Rob.
About identity, about grief.
Maybe even about, like, the cyclical nature of these stories.
Like, can you ever truly escape the patterns of the past?
Now, the source also throws out some speculative plot points for you to consider.
I love a good fan theory.
What if the setting is, like, a cult-like wellness retreat?
Ooh, that's right for satire.
Right. Perfect for the White Lotus.
Oh, imagine the characters they could create in that environment.
And then there's this idea that the antagonists might shift.
Okay, how so?
Instead of old money.
Like the Moss backers in
Yeah.
season 1.
Right. Maybe it's tech billionaires this time.
Oh, that's so relevant.
Right. Like the new elite.
With their own brand of privilege and problems.
It would be a natural progression for the show's critique of wealth and power.
And it would tap into those anxieties we all have about the tech industry.
Yeah, like their influence, their ethics.
It would be fascinating to see how Mike White would tackle that.
And I'm personally really intrigued by this idea
What is it?
of focusing more on the staff.
Oh, yeah, give them more agency.
Right, because we see glimpses of their frustrations,
Their own little dramas,
their dreams, their struggles.
but it's always from the periphery.
Right, they're kind of in the background.
So it would be really interesting to see that explored in more depth.
See them take center stage.
Right, and maybe even fight back against the system.
Oh, yeah. That would be amazing.
A staff rebellion.
I would watch that.
Me too.
Okay, one last thing from NEXTGEN AI POD before we wrap up.
Okay, hit me with it.
Their prediction for season 3,
Let's hear it.
a doubled body count.
Oh, wow.
And they suggest either a yoga guru serial killer
Okay, that's dark.
or an NFT scammer drowning in karma.
Ooh, I love that.
It's so perfectly White Lotus, right?
It's got that dark humor,
The irony.
the social commentary.
It fits.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Right.
we want to leave you with some questions
Get those brains working.
to think about.
Okay.
First, who's your favorite character?
In the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, from either season.
And why?
What was it about them that resonated with you?
What made them stand out?
Okay, second question.
Okay.
Tanya,
Or a tragic queen.
do you think her death was inevitable?
Was there any other way it could have gone?
Or was she always doomed from the start?
Given her personality, the people around her?
And finally,
Yeah.
think about everything we've discussed today.
Okay.
Where in Asia do you think season 3 should take place?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And what themes do you think it should explore?
Based on the patterns we've seen.
Right. What do you think Mike White is going to do next?
Let us know your theories.
Now, we really encourage you
Yes.
to go back and rewatch the first 2 seasons
With these new insights in mind.
because you'll notice things you didn't see before.
Little details, subtle moments.
Layers upon layers.
It's a show that rewards multiple viewings.
Because ultimately, I think this show is trying to tell us something, isn't it?
About ourselves, about society.
Beyond the entertainment, beyond the drama.
It's a social commentary.
Right. So think about the power imbalances.
The tragic ironies.
The way these privileged lives unravel.
Again and again.
What do you think the White Lotus is saying about wealth, privilege, and human nature itself?
Regardless of the beautiful location.
It's a question worth pondering.
It's a question that lingers.
Long after the credits roll.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure dissecting this with you.
And we'll see you next time on the deep dive.
See you then.
For another deep dive into something that makes us think.
Yeah, maybe squirm a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.